What's up, everybody? Austin Krujek here, and this is Sussed Out. Since this is our first episode, I just need to check in with the crew really quick.
Yep.
All right, roll the intro. Mood Swings is the project of Maddie Jay, an artist, producer, and multi-instrumentalist based out of Los Angeles. As a self-proclaimed bedroom producer, she draws inspiration from music like psychedelic rock, lo-fi hip-hop, and jangle pop. For this episode, Maddie chose to break down her song Lunch Break, and all the sounds that you hear in this episode will be available in a sample pack of one-shots and loops that you guys can use in your own music. Just head to the link in the description below for more info. Now that you know a little bit about her, here's Maddie Jay and I breaking down her lyrics, song structure, hidden sounds, and a little advice for our aspiring producers.
Hey, I'm Maddie Jay, and I am a bass player, producer, and artist. It's actually kind of funny. I don't ever say lunch break in the song. Not like inherently about a lunch break, but for some reason, those words like just kept coming back to me. Like the original name was going to be Vacation, which just like didn't stick in my head. It just like felt blah. It just like felt like a throwaway title. For some reason, lunch break feels visually appropriate because it's like not super serious. Like it's very light. Like you're just gonna go take a lunch break, but it's also like, you know, every person does that. They take an hour, a small amount of time away from their work life or something, or their chosen life to like take a second, take a step back, which is kind of the theme of the whole song. This was like the first song I ever self-produced for myself. I'd written a lot of songs in my life, and like I had an old band that I used to write for, and really I really wasn't working on any other music. I was like, I just want to do a song. Like I just want to like do a song. I want to make it. I want to do it all myself. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to learn how to produce. And the first lyrics I came up with were the bridge. So these are the bridge lyrics that I wrote first.
If I went to the Bahamas, would you tag along with me? If that is too far, we could check out Yosemite. If I flew to New York, would you buy a second seat? You don't like the city? Well, let's try a Joshua Tree.
So it's just like naming places and how I get there. So that's like, I was thinking like, oh, like I just want to go on a vacation. It's also a love song. Like I want to take somebody with me on this vacation. So I wrote that without really any context. I was just like places, like rhyming. The progression of the song kind of naturally found its way out, and that bridge part ended up being at the end, right? But I think it kind of evolves from like, can we just hang out like and go to get a bite, to like kind of evolves like, actually let's do a lot of stuff. Like it kind of grows at every level, which is like as far as songwriting goes, like I always try to like develop what does the chorus mean every time. Like it kind of takes it to another level every time. That's like a songwriting thing that I do often.
I love that. We touched on kind of like the song structure there for a little bit, so maybe we could dive a little deeper into, you know, exactly what the song structure is as you kind of fleshed out the lyrics and started piecing everything together. Like what is the actual song form?
We've got our intro, which is just a little hooky bit at the beginning, the groove. And I guess when I wrote those bridge lyrics, it was actually over this beat that I made. So I kind of wrote everything over that beat and then fleshed out the form afterwards. So essentially we have our verse, I'm tired of my life. I want to go eat lunch or dinner or whatever. And then we've got our chorus, which is, I just need a vacation from this life that I made for myself. Don't need a Mai Tai, don't need a beach, just want to hang out with you, or whatever the lyrics are. And then after that, we have our post-chorus, which is my favorite part of the song. And it actually only happens this one time, except for, I guess, the end too. So it only happens this one time, and we've got oohs and harmonies. I'm like obsessed with vocal harmonies and a really cool synth part. That was like when I fell in love with producing. And then we have our second verse, which is kind of, it's just taking it to a more like mental level. Like the first verse is like, I'm here and I want to be there, and like here are some physical things. And this is more about like the mindset of like, I'm texting you, and like, why am I texting you when I'm supposed to be working? Like, that's all I want to do. Like, all I want to do is hang out with you. I'm so exhausted. I keep making plans and then bailing on them. Like, it's more about the mental mindset when you're exhausted with your chosen life. Even though I really want to go out and hang out with people, I want to go to your show, like I want to go to your whatever, I'm too tired because I made a beat or something. It doesn't make any sense. It's true. So yeah, then we've got our second verse. Again, we hit the chorus, but instead of a post-chorus this time, we go into guitar solo land. So this guitar solo was actually played by one of my very best friends, Nicholas Binaglu. And I had this big open space, and I had a reference actually for this song. I was like, I want it to be a guitar solo like in this song by one of my favorite artists. He's named He has this like really gnarly guitar solo. And I was like, my whole thing to Nick was like, can you just make it sound like I played it really bad? Because Nick's an amazing guitar player. He can read over any jazz standard. He can like play all the gospel licks, whatever. Like, and I was like, just do it like I did it. Just pretend I'm playing it. Like, he knows that I'm not a very good guitar player, but he's got like the tones, and like I knew he could really sell it. And he owed me a favor, so I literally just sent it. He sent it back a half an hour. I was like, this is perfect. And then we go into this bridge, which was ironically the very first thing I wrote, and it kind of sums up this slacker love story. I don't know. And then we end with our synth. We pull back that synth from the post-chorus and the oohs and the harmonies, but it's fading out and kind of disintegrating throughout the end.
What if we go now like super, super deep? What did you start with? Like, what was the very first layer?
Just a quick disclaimer. This is my very first song I ever produced, and this is a splice sample. So it is a guitar. It's from, I just literally was sifting. I just got on Splice. I just started producing. And I don't really do this anymore because I now take pride in like making my own stuff and, you know, doing deep dives and cutting up samples from other songs or whatever. Like, but this was a very beginner producer move where I was like, oh, that's a cool sound. But honestly, like, if something inspires you like that, that's sick. Like, if you can like build a whole song around a single sound, like, just defending myself. Yeah, it was in C, so that's why we're in C in the song.
Okay, cool.
And then I put it onto the sampler and moved it up to F. So we've got our 1 to 4. Great chord progression. I use it all the time. And then I built the drums after that. We've got a mouse click, and we have a finger snap. We have a, it's like a ratchet, but I think I got it from like Metal Workshop sample pack or something, you know, you always find those. So yeah, we've got our clicks. That's the mouse click. That's actually also a mouse click. It's 2 mouse clicks and a ratchet. So it sounds like I pitch shifted this one. It actually has like I do that a lot when I'm using like a repeated sample just to like add some variation, but then all of it together. Yeah, I can't remember because this was like 2 years ago, but I'm pretty sure I just took a sample and went duh, duh, duh. Maybe put a delay on it. So yeah, that kind of is the essentials of the beat. Then we've got just like our plain drums sort of existing underneath that as well. Straight up the worst hi-hat programming you've ever heard. The only thing that changes is we add in percussion, we add in a shaker in the chorus. And also our kick goes from sporadic to 4 on the floor. Very simple. One thing I did, which I think is something I still do a lot, is like rather than just like adding layers willy-nilly, I change what the layers are doing a little bit, like with the 4 on the floor, just like a little bit, like rather, because I think people tend to like, they're like, oh, and just like throw a pad. Although I did also throw a pad, but and also the chords are very similar, but they're not the same. Yeah, it goes from C major 7 to the 4 to the F major 7, then F diminished. But in the chorus, it goes C, D minor, F. So it actually goes. Where in the verse it's just alternating between the two. So there is just like it's just a passing chord, but no big emotional chord changes, but just like a little elevation again. Yeah, form came pretty early. Form always comes early for me. Like that's the rule that I work around. Like once I have that, I'm like, okay, how do I make this work now? And if it's open to whatever you want to, if you want to change things around. But once I had that like verse, chorus, post, and then I think I used to have a post in there, and then I was like, I don't want to hear this again. Like we need something else, like a guitar solo instead. Yeah, it kind of like takes the place of a double chorus, I guess, because that's like a big songwriting technique. Like the last time you do the chorus, you do it twice, because it's like you got there, you get the reward, right? Instead of doing that, I just did a solo. Yeah, so and it just did feel like, I think that the synth, the modulating synth part that I had made, I was like so excited about it. I was so tempted to just throw it in as many times as I want, but then I realized like that kind of takes away how special it was. So I just had time, and then at the end on its own. Whereas like I could have put it again as a post-chorus.
Could you talk us through any of the sounds that we might have missed?
Okay, so first of all, this is a very hidden sound, but if you take it out, makes the whole thing sound stupid. This comes in the verse only, and I played chords on bass, like all the way up the neck, and then I pitched it up again, and then put a filter, like an auto filter on it. But yeah, that's like one of those things, like you don't really hear it.
I'm stuck in my room. I wanna unwind.
Until you know, and then it's there. So that would be like one of those hidden sounds. Then we've got, I think this is what you were talking about, maybe. I don't know what that is. Pulled that out of a sample pack and messed it up. In the chorus, we've got this like crazy pumping thing. That's just like a heavy side-chained synth. And then it goes, I named it Pumping Pan Synth. And then we've got, okay, this one's fun. This one I sampled my voice going, ooh, ooh, and then I pitched it way up, and then harmonized it within the sampler, and it sounds like. So that's actually a voice. And I just remember that because I was so proud of myself when I did it. And I think if I didn't know it was a voice and it was like one of those other things that I forgot about, I would never be able to tell you that. But it's kind of fun. That'll go in the sample pack. We've got some nice pads. I didn't put those in until my mixing engineer told me I had to. Very good friend of mine. Maddie, there's like no low mids in the song. It's like it's so empty, and I trusted him, and I was like, okay, you're right. So I decided to put in they're very quiet. Oh, we've got some nice, I went real crazy with the samples. There's also this guy. Right here.
Gotta stop making plans.
And I think I got that from the same pack as the mouse clicks. Man, I never thought about like the working. I'm gonna pretend that I did that on purpose. Like, okay. Just for work. Then we have our, of course, our modulating synth, which was another proud first producer moment. And I had just learned how to use the external instrument on Ableton. Yeah, you take MIDI, because I'm a pretty terrible keyboard player, so I like drew in the MIDI, but I was able to send it. I bought myself a Prophet also, because I was like, that's what producers do, they buy Prophets. So I bought myself a Prophet for my birthday, which I've since sold. But so I fed the MIDI into there, and then I modulated the arpeggiator on it just randomly. I just was playing as the MIDI was going in there. I was turning the knob and kind of like speeding it up, or sorry, like an LFO thing. So it sounds like this. It sounds so intentional now that it's like part of a song, but it literally was just random. I was just like turning it. like, oh, does that sound good? I don't know. Because like it's fun. I think I was noticing that it is an arpeggio the whole time, but the way it worked, it lined it up so it just sounds like chords, but then sometimes
Right.
it's off and then it would go blah, 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 and I thought that was really cool. Oh, there's one hidden sound.
Yeah.
And it's just it's just something that goes over the F whenever the 4 chord comes up. It's just like a really verbed out piano and then reversed. Yeah, this only happens in the verses, really, but it's just sort of signal when the 4 chord hits. It's just like a whoosh, like another little accent there. Yeah, I think it just has like a wistfulness to it. I don't think this might have just been trying to capture a vibe, honestly.
Okay.
Capture like a feeling and an energy rather than anything like directly relating to a lyric or anything. Like I think just from a producer, like instead of ending it with a bang, like that's there's like a lot of ways you can end a song, but I feel like I felt very confident about this modulating synth part that I'd done, and I just felt like it leaves you in this like kind of dream state.
What is a piece of advice that you would offer to some bedroom producers that are aspiring to do what you've done?
I think people are kind of scared of experimenting without direction sometimes. I know I was, but as soon as I like let go of that, like I used to be the kind of person who'd look up a YouTube video for like everything. I'd be like, okay, wait, how do I make a song sound like this person? Or like, how do I, but I feel like sometimes we forget that all music was made up out of nothing at some point. Like anything that's not derivative, anything you hear that's really cool and new wasn't somebody trying to sound like somebody else. In a way, they're pulling from like 100 different places. A lot of it's they discovered something like completely on their own, and like the sum of their influences come together some way and they just found something. So I don't know. I feel like experimenting with whatever you can get your hands on and like trying things from like 100 different angles is like the only way you can really like discover what you like and like what your whole thing is, which to me is like the entire point. If you're just making music to sound like other people, like that doesn't make sense to me because there's already somebody who's done it better. They're way further ahead of you.
Thank you guys so much for joining us for this first episode. I had a blast putting this together. I learned a lot as well, and I hope you guys did too. Don't forget to support Maddie Jay by checking out her sample pack at the link in the description below. I have some exciting artists lined up for our next few episodes, but please let me know if you have any in mind that you would like to be featured. My name is Austin Kruchek, and I'll see you in the next episode.